You know, it takes years to be this warm and make it look this good. After years of testing and trying out new things, I want to take you through all the different layering systems and different sections to show you what I choose to layer in my clothing system during winter to make sure I'm the warmest person at camp. Welcome back to the studio basement, and I wanted to get started here by just taking you through what I would carry with just a couple of interchangeable few options for a cold weather hike. This is, I mean, I have stuff just on the table that I would go to probably, I'd say, the mid-teens, maybe a little lower than that, but for the most part, this will take me anywhere from mid 40s down to the teens, and then, like I said, a few interchangeables here. So basically, when you're looking at your layering system for your clothes, there's multiple levels of it, and multiple portions of the body that each part take care of. That's hence the layering system. So I would, no matter what, I never hike in pants or start out in pants specifically. I always wear shorts. You can add multiple degrees by moving around, and a lot of times you wake up in camp and you're really cold, and you wear a few extra layers to get out of camp, and then as the day warms up you shed those layers, and sometimes you keep the layers completely on, and you just have to make sure you're regulating your body temperature with zippers and things like that to keep yourself from sweating too much, because you don't want to get into camp and be sweaty and then you instantly start to get hypothermic. So I'm going to start just kind of at the bottom and work my way up. I always wear 2 pairs of socks. So here I've got just some main options that I would go with. An Injinji kind of sock liner. They're toe socks. I love these things. I had a ton of relief by switching and putting those underneath my main hiking socks, and I usually wear some form of Darn Tough. I've got some low cuts and crew linked socks, and for the most part these Darn Tough socks work out quite well. They're wool and they don't trap smell too much. And then coming up from that, I would wear some kind of base layer for the bottom. Here I've got kind of my go-to pair. This is I got these a really long time ago. The name is worn off of them, but they're wool long johns essentially, and I picked them up on Amazon. I want to say I paid like 25 bucks or 20 bucks for the pair, and they're form-fitting. They work really well keeping close to your body so that you aren't snagging on anything, because I'll wear these with just a pair of shorts, so this covers my lower half of the body. And again, this is cold weather. You've all seen me in warm weather. I would wear a shirt like this, Omni-Freeze Zero from Columbia, where it's wicking and keeps you cool by your sweat. I would wear this as my only layer. But in winter, I would wear some sort of upper base layer. Here I've got a wool icebreaker short sleeve shirt, which works really well. It's the slim fit version, so it's nice and tight. And then when I put my mid layer on, it doesn't move around underneath that. And then I've just got the matching wool top to go with those long johns. And this is actually got the brand on it still. They're made by Woolskins, and I'm not sure if they're around anymore. Like I said, those are a number of years old, but they work really well. And one of the main features about that is, they're not as quick to trap smell. They do not catch an ember like a synthetic pair of long johns would. So if you're sitting close to a fire, you don't have to worry as much about an ember popping out of the fire and burning your long johns. So moving up from that, we've got socks, pants, and shirt base layers pretty much all taken care of. And then I would do some kind of buff. So I have just a standard buff that's there. I mean, these are incredibly thin. I carry one of these in summer, winter, no matter what. And then if I'm going to get into some extreme cold type stuff, there's a couple of options that Buff makes. This one's called an Arctic, and it's actually got a Polartec fleece bottom to it. So it's a standard Buff, and then it's got a section of Polartec fleece. and that just goes at the top and really kind of hugs in under your neck and keeps that portion of your body just really warm. And this, I have to be very selective when I use that, because there's a lot of occasions where it's just too much and I can't wear that. Then I'll go to a mid layer. My mid layer of choice right now, especially for really cold weather, is the Patagonia R1. This, if you aren't familiar with it, it's a really cool technology that they use, where it's got the grid style fleece on the inside, and it traps your body heat, kind of like an insulative layer. Traps your body heat in between the grid, and then allows it to breathe as well. So if you hold it up to light, you can almost see through it, but it has that insulative property where it'll trap that body heat. Then going from there, I've got the buff covered. I'm going to do some kind of hat. So this is just a fleece beanie from Z-Packs, and I like this one. It's really wide, and so it doesn't like snug down around the side of your face, and it traps in enough warmth, but it's not gonna give you a headache from being too tight, which I ran into with some of the knitted type beanies from North Face, or I think I've got a Mountain Hardwear one that's knitted, and it just like hugs down around my face so much. And then more extreme, I've got the Black Rock gear. This is it says limited edition on it, but it's gray. There's a kind of a synthetic micro fleece on the inside, and then of course it's goose down filled. And this thing it's the warmest thing I've ever owned in my life, and it's impressive how warm this thing can be. And I've tried to wear it in single digits shoveling snow in front of my house, and it's too hot. I mean, if you're standing around, it'll be okay, but it's very, very warm. So that is proven to be somewhat of a, put it on, take it off type situation with that. I'm going to go to gloves next. I carry the Possum Down gloves from Z-Packs. If you haven't tried these things out, they will impress you, I promise. They're, for the price and the fact that the black possum has a fur that's like a polar bear, where each fiber is hollow. It traps heat, and these are they're incredibly warm. I do suffer from a little bit of Raynaud's, and so I have, and it's from letting my hands get to a point of hypothermia so much, and then a little arthritis mixed in there, but I have really low blood flow into my last 3 fingers on both hands, and these things will, I mean, they'll change a hike and allow you to stay out longer and enjoy yourself more if you suffer from anything like that with cold hands or feet. Then upper insulation here, Mountain Hardwear Ghost Whisperer. This is not the Ghost Whisperer 2, so it's still the lighter version, and it's I think it comes in, it's a medium with a hood, comes in like 7.8 ounces. If you hunt around, you can find these things pretty inexpensive, 180, 200 bucks, and they're worth their weight in gold. No questions to that. This is my favorite jacket of all time. And when we get into some of the more options that there are out there, you'll see that I own a number of insulative puffy jackets, and this is by far the choice that I would go with every time. So moving on from that, we've got base layers, we've got mid layers covered, and now I want to talk about shell. So when you're creating all of this body heat inside your insulation, and then the wind blows, it's pulling the heat right out of your body. So I'll typically use a rain jacket, and I have a number of ones to show you over here, but this is the Lightheart Gear rain jacket, and it is waterproof, not water resistant, which makes it incredibly wind resistant as well. So it's always impressive when you put on some kind of shell over your insulated layers to keep that in, and then that's where sweating really becomes an issue. Then for my pants, I have a pair of Hyper D wind pants, and you can see size wise, they're very, very small, and they weigh 2 ounces in the stuff sack, and they're made from Hyper D, calendared Hyper D that I had left over from a quilt project. And I basically just, this is a DIY thing. I was looking at new wind pants. I have some microlight pants, microline, I think is what they're called, pants from Sierra Designs, and I've had a couple of like Frog Togs type pants and stuff like that. And I was looking for something to upgrade to. So I was looking at Enlightened Equipment makes a copper-filled pant that is their wind pant, and they're pretty inexpensive, less than $80, I think, if you just get the very basic of them. Then Mld has the Tachyon Pants, and then they also make another one. I think it's called the Dynamo or something like that. That's $20 less and raises the denier of the fabric a little bit more, and gives you an option for zippers on the bottom, which is definitely worth the exchange of weight. I think it's a penalty of like a half an ounce, and you save $20, but you get zippers on the side, which is big time. I mean, that's awesome. So a friend of mine, Rev, actually called me a sellout because I was going to go buy pants somewhere for wind pants, and it seems such a small thing, so why not just make your own? So I headed over to the fabric store. I bought a pattern for making some sleeping pants. So what anyone would buy to make a pair of fleece sleep pants for the house, I bought that, and then I just used this material instead, changed a few things about the pattern, and I came up with some 2-ounce wind pants. And as small as they fold down, they have great coverage, good features. I just went with a drawstring top, so it's got a small elastic draw cord at the top, and then at the bottom I left the legs very wide, and I added a small cam snap so that once you slip them on over your shoes, you can do the cam snap. It'll hug tightly around your ankle and keep that wind from blowing in underneath, or keep the pants from moving around as much, and they worked excellent as a wind shell for your lower half. And then the only other shell that I carry are the Mld Rain Mints, and these are event rain mitts. I've done a video about these before. These things are awesome. I love them. They're in the large size. Now when you get them, you do have to stuff them full of old like newspaper and then seal the seams yourself. But they're 3-layer event, and if you were to put the possum down gloves on, I mean, this is good. It's going to get you down into the 20s probably comfortably, and then if it's raining, it starts to get questionable. But put this on over this, and you have a completely different world of warmth there. And that, I mean, this will take you into single digits very easily. So I've kind of, long-winded here, taking you through what I would wear on a cold weather trip. There's a couple things that I would switch in and out, like for sleeping, I would swap out from my hiking socks. Obviously, you want to get those things off when you get to camp. I would go to a possum down sock, and then if it's really, really cold, I would add I have the Z-Packs down booties here, and these are made by Goose Feet Gear for Z-Packs, but they use Z-Packs' Venom 7D material that it's exclusive to Z-Packs, so they send the fabric over to them, and Goose Feet Gear builds these for them. So anyways, this is my extreme cold foot layer when I'm in my sleeping bag, or quilt. So what I want to do now, I'm going to clear the table off, and I'm going to just take you through some options on the layers. I understand that not everybody has hiked for a lot of years, or is even sure that they like hiking in the winter. I have a lot of friends that they don't hike in the winter. They keep it to 3-season gear, and they're happy with that. But I like to hike 4 seasons. So I'm going to clear this out, and I just want to take you through some kind of entry-level options, or some other less expensive options that could accomplish a lot of the same things, and you wouldn't have to break the bank to try out a good layering system. So let me get set up, and I'll take you through some options.